Hey y'all, it's me. Well, today may or may not be the last video. We're going to attempt to make that happen. If we get close and it's going to run over the hour a little bit, then we will just go ahead and run it over. If it's going to take quite a bit more than an hour, we'll have another session. I'm trying to pick hairs off down here. All right, we're going to work in the sky up here with these clouds, and I'm not going to bank them up. I don't think as thick as they are. I may. I'm just going to go with what feels right. So, all right, I'm going to start out with some of this medium gray. And I want to reiterate that it's important not to go too big, because when you're thinning this paint down, as we will be as we spread it out, it dries really, really quickly, and then you can't work with it. Once it's dry, you're finished, and if it's grainy, it's grainy. So try to just work with a small section at a time, and let's see what we can do with these clouds today. I do know that, I've struggled with the clouds. I've told y'all that. And I've just got to spend time practicing, because a lot of it is just practicing. I don't remember the details of how I've done these things in the past. At one point, it seemed to come fairly easy, but that was 7 years ago, and I have forgotten the techniques that I used, so I need to practice. That's kind of what these these videos have been, is practice for me, and I hope they've benefited you. I've got to spend some time off camera, though, also practicing with the things that are kind of just eating my lunch, like the clouds. But I will probably after the holidays. Right now we have so many little projects going on, and as a matter of fact, he's down there working in the barn right now. I hear the saw going. So he has one cabinet pretty much finished, and it's the under the sink cabinet. It's about a 4-foot cabinet, and went down and looked at it yesterday, and he's struggling too, because it's been a long time since he's done any woodworking, or any of that type of woodworking, let's say. So we're both learning. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating to start fresh with something that you feel like you had at one point kind of conquered. And but that's okay. That's all right. We'll find our groove again. I've got to look through my photographs this week and determine what we're going to work on next. And as soon as I find it, I'll do either a short, or I might do a whole video and we'll talk about it. But I am glad that those of you that have joined me in this venture have stuck with me this far. I know that the style of painting that I do is kind of tedious and maybe a little boring for you. It's a little bit frustrating for me. But as we get more and more familiar with what we're doing, I think we'll move faster. Hopefully we won't ever have a video that will take us more than 6 sessions, unless it's a waterfall. If we ever do a waterfall together, that one, there's so many layers that it could take a while. All right. Now let's put put a little bit of our purple in this cloud. And of course that can be random because the purple is going to be where, you know, the light is hitting it. And the light won't be hitting the entire cloud. Let's use that bigger brush and soften that. And remember, the softer that you tap, the fewer little lines you're going to see from your brush, from your bristles poking into it. And then I'm going to use just a little bit of a lighter color here and there, that lighter purple. All right, now I'm going to use that gray or that brownish color that I mixed, that darker color that has the brown in it, the raw umber. I'm going to use that up in this top corner. Let me get a little brush. I need a little brush because I want that to be a little bit more wispy instead of just really, really intense. I don't want it just to be a blob. In other words, I want it to have a lot of that blue sky showing. Crows are catching my attention out the window. I don't know what they're doing, but they're fighting with something, and they sure are making loud noises. That brush is a little stiff. Let me see what else I can find in here. Screws really are loud. Now when your brush, especially if you're using a soft brush like this one I've got in my hand right now, when it starts getting saturated, you'll definitely want to wipe as much of the paint out of it, going back and forth on your t-shirt, because otherwise you're just going to be blopping blops. And that is actually not giving me enough pressure. So let's switch over to a more intense brush for a minute. Just going lightly though. Scooch over just a second. Sorry. Well, I'm not getting a stiff enough brush. What's going on here? This might be too much, but let's try him for a minute. I hear Hugh in the kitchen fixing himself some lunch. He's taking a break from the woodworking. And as far as your brushes, your own personal brushes, you really just have to play with them and figure out what they'll do for you. I'm sure that there's wonderful books out there and videos out there on how to use the different types of brushes. And I haven't watched or looked around for one myself, but if anybody finds any that they want to share with the group, please let me know, and I'll pin it at the top of one of our videos. At the top of the comments, what I'm trying to say. I brushed I brushed half of Bodhi this morning, which he enjoyed, but then I couldn't get him to turn over so I can brush his other half. He's a 110-pound golden retriever, 15 years old, so just getting half of him brushed is a big accomplishment. And the problem is my hand is numb right now. I didn't realize I had overworked it this morning. I have arthritis in both of my hands, so it doesn't take too much. And then I've got a problem. All right, let's add us some color in these. And this is, I think I grabbed the lighter of the purple. I meant to grab the darker. Let's use the darker up here in these. I need a softer brush. This is just not a happy brush for me. Let's get rid of that. I'm just going to pound on it until I have him just totally softened away. All right. I think what we need is quite a bit of purple in those clouds. We've just got them too brown, but they're brown in the photograph. I just don't like it in the painting, and that's okay. Sometimes you just need to switch things up. last thing I want to do is just try to brighten these up with just little bits of highlights along the bottom. And actually, I think I might even use the brighter pink. Oops, sorry y'all. Well, that one's full of hair. And just remember that, you know, your highlights are going to hit in random spots. You can kind of look at your clouds and see where they're most likely to catch the light. And try to stick with those spots. And it doesn't have to always be on the very bottom. Sometimes it can be, look like it's right in the middle of that cloud because of wherever that cloud's jutting out a little bit. And a spot or two, I just want to bring in some of the lighter gray on the top. I'll go back over those highlights in a second. need just a little bit of the really, really intensely pale pink. Maybe just a spot or two in the very bottom clouds up here. Let's blend that out a little bit. I really got to get acquainted with my brushes again. All right. Now, I know that those clouds leave a lot to be desired. They're just going to be what they are this time because I don't have the ability to fix them currently. I've got to spend some time studying this whole thing and the issues that I've created. I tell you, let's darken our darkest cloud color. And put just a little bit of depth up in this upper corner. And we're just darkening with Payne's Gray this time. Okay. All right. And let's use just a little flat brush. Just a little flat brush. I told y'all you're going to be learning with me. You didn't know I meant it that seriously, did you? There was no rhyme or reason to that, other than I just wanted kind of some random dark in there. Lots of little hairs in there. Little brush hairs. Brother. Alright, y'all. These clouds are just going to be what they are. I'm going to leave them on because I'm not going to do anything but make a bigger mess right now because I'm frustrated. Sometimes when you're frustrated, you need to do one of two things. You need to stop and come back to it. You need to leave it alone, or you need to just totally wipe it out. And I'm not talking about the whole painting, but I'm talking about the section you're working on. And if you wait long enough between sessions, then that works. You can come back to it later. I've got sunshine coming in the window now, so that's not going to help us. All right, let's get these sunbeams in. That's what I'm excited about. All right, and I want a skinny little brush. Actually, let's try a little angle brush. Load your paint on both sides and kind of pull the brush so that you're making it into a nice sharp little point. And our sun, our main beam comes in at an angle, and we're going to come down real fast. Trim. Okay. And he's pretty long, but down here at the bottom, we want to go with a darker color. And then finally with the darkest color. All right. Now this is where we're going to play for a while. Now you notice that I started at the bottom and I stayed on my line. And as you come up, I get a little heavier with this trounce so that it, you can even go side to side right there if you want to widen it up toward the top. Keep it fairly narrow at the bottom though. And now I'm going to take my little brush and do that in another couple spots. Kind of random lengths and all. And oops, I know I'm shaking you around. I keep hitting because you're sitting right in front of me. Sorry. Okay, now the ones on the side, you don't want them to be as intense as your main one. And we're not finished with him yet, so don't get excited. That one's going to be more intense. All right. Now, oops, good gravy. I'm sorry, guys. Let's come back to this brightest color again. Well, I'll tell you what. Let me get a pointy brush for this one, for this time around. Oops. You actually have a little bit more control with the angle brush than you do with the pointer. With a pointer, it's kind of hard to get a straight line with a pointer. You have to be pretty intentional. And I don't want these on the side to be quite, I'm gonna have to move my easel. We really are getting sunshine in here. So let me slide my, there we go. That helped a little bit, I think. All right. Now, let's take y'all, if I don't keep bumping you around, let's take just a little bit of lemon yellow. And I'm going to put just a little bit of white in with it and a little bit of this orange. Okay, let's, in other words, I'm lightening that orange up considerably. But I just want to use it right along. Right along the edge. Right into that sunshine. All right, let's blot it. And let's barely tap it. Actually, let's drag that one on down before we tap it. All right, now this is where we're going to take a leap of faith. And we're going to take some pure white and go right in the center of our sunshine. And let's blot it just a tad. And blunt the edge. Should have kept those rays much more orange. We let them get way too yellow. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to wipe them out. Because that's one thing I'm not going to... I made them too yellow. And the only thing I did was take a little bit of turpentine on one of my towels and wipe it off. Just dry it good before you try to work on it. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. Wasn't paying real good attention, and I liked that orange. So let's find our angle brush again, because I did like that angle brush for this particular thing. Where did you go, angle brush? There it is. All right. Wipe him off. Have paintbrushes hitting the floor. All right. Now let's go back to that brightest orange. All right. Now, find yourself another little skinny brush to blend the color out with. Actually, I've got another angle brush. I think I'll use that. Actually, it's the darkest orange. That's the problem. I'm using the lightest orange, and it's supposed to be this darkest orange. That lightest orange is only just in the very center. So here we go. Sorry again. All right. That's better. And now you can, if you'd like to, take some of that color sideways. That's what I'm doing. All right, now we can take some of that lighter yellow, that orange yellow, and bring it right down from the sun. Just in the center. And not as far down on these smaller rays, or as intensely on the smaller rays. Well, my orange oranged that one, or I yellowed that one up too much again. There, the sun's got us again. I have to move something. All right. All right, now this time I'm just going to barely blend that out. All right, now I will tell you that it's probably going to have to dry at this point before you can put a more intense beam down the center of that. It just seems to need something right there. All right, little table, you're going to have to slide around. I'm going to have to turn my easel completely out of the sun. Well, y'all, I don't know. I think we need one more day because I'm just not content with this. Just not. For one thing, I can see. For one thing, I need to bring those trees up into the sun a little bit more. And now mixing a little bit of raw umber into my dark yellow, or my dark orange. I'm going to leave those raised, but they won't be, we'll be doing something different with them next time, but that will at least be a base. Take your little towel and blot what we just did so that we can pull the raised back down over top of that. Okie dokie. All right, y'all. Frustrated I am. But that's all right. Frustrated I can be. We'll get it figured out. But anyway, all right. That is session 6 of sunset number 1. And we still are not finished. I'll figure it out, hopefully, and be able to know what we need to do come next Monday. Okay. Need to blend that a little bit more right there, though, before it dries. All right. I'm finished. That's just all that's going to happen today. We will have one more session, obviously. I love y'all, and I thank you for hanging with me. Reminding myself how to paint's a lot tougher than I thought it was going to be. That's all right. We'll get her done. We'll figure it out. And I will talk to you soon. Love you. Bye.